Welcome back, everybody. Beloved Broadway hit Hamilton is now in Austin, and you don't want to miss this multi-Tony and Grammy Award-winning performance. They just had opening night last night, and actor Jorge Guerra is joining us to tell us more about his experience in the musical. We're so lucky to have him. Jorge, good morning.
Good morning.
I told you off camera that basically at this point, I think someone would have to be living under a pretty big rock to not know much about Hamilton. But the first question I'd like to ask you is about how much is real about what we see on the stage, and can you give us a bit of an idea about this story?
Yeah, absolutely. So Hamilton follows the life closely of Alexander Hamilton, and it walks through the key figures in his life that went all the way from his I'm young, scrappy, and hungry to let's have a revolution, if we will, to wait, there's a constitution and we need to get this down, to his timely death at the very end.
Yeah, wow. So it follows the life of a man that people might have read about in history books before. It became this incredible musical. I want to know why you think it kind of syncs up with people now. Why they kind of feel a pull towards this very historical story.
Yeah, so it is history then told by the history now, and how paralleled it is. I mean, the immigrant story is a universal experience as Americans.
Absolutely.
And as a result of that, that's why this story affects people the way that it does. And also it incorporates a lot of stylistic choices that are modern and fresh by telling an old-time story. And I mean, while the show is dramatized in a lot of ways, a lot of these things are in history, like the Reynolds pamphlet. Like, this man decided to write these words and say, hey, let's do this. But as a result of that, people find this to be more accessible because it's told in a vernacular that also is very congruent to what we're doing now.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, the first time I saw Hamilton, I went home, pulled up a Wikipedia page, and I was like, what was real? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because some of these, you don't know if they're dramatized or if actually that was history that you maybe learned and forgot. A fascinating man, and of course, one of our founding fathers. So I want to ask you about casting, because you have a very interesting set of roles that you play, and I feel like they're not often honored enough. So talk to me about what you do at Hamilton.
So I am a swing and understudy, which I will talk to the difference between a standby, a swing, and an understudy.
Okay.
A standby is somebody who literally stands by and goes on for principal roles of the show.
Okay.
And they are an offstage member of the company. Then you have your understudy, which oftentimes tends to be somebody within the company who understudies a lead role, like one or two of them. And then a swing is somebody who stands by and swings in for any of the ensemble roles. So as a result of that, that's kind of like their jurisdiction. I am considered a swing and an understudy. So I'm responsible for all 5 male ensemble tracks, and I understudy John Lawrence and Philip Hamilton.
And when you say John Lawrence and Philip Hamilton, I think a really important piece of information, if people haven't seen Hamilton, is that the traveling company is actually quite small. This was the way it was originally set up, right? So people play different roles in maybe the first act, and they flip for the second act. So this isn't just because this show has shown up here in Austin and we don't have enough people. This is the way that it was actually set up by Lin-Manuel, right?
Yeah, this is the tracking of it. There's a very specific reason why I play these two characters, and to say the least, by also saying the most, think of it as a reincarnation of sorts.
Interesting that you eventually play his son as that second role. I do want to ask a little bit more about the swing, because I think people may not understand. We are talking different parts of a harmony. We are talking different steps of a dance. We are, the choreography changes. You have to be ready to step into any one of those 5 roles at any time. It could be halfway through the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened before when I was in intermission backstage, ready to rock and roll, eating my sweet green salad, and then the stage manager was like, hey, you're going to be on for Act 2, so just get your undergarments ready. And I do one of these, and I go to work.
Wow, that's crazy. The brain power that it takes to have all of that memorized. And so it looks seamless to the audience, that they can't tell the difference, is really huge. So I want to congratulate you on that. And not only that, but you are one of our own. So I want to brag on you for just a little bit if I can. Not only a native Texan, but you call Austin your artistic home. Can you tell me about that?
Well, I am, yes, from the RGV. That is where I was born. Austin is what I would consider my artistic home because this is where all my milestones in my career happened. The very first time that I felt the most confident about my dancing was training at Ballet Austin. They gave me the foundation to do what I needed to do to get to where I'm at. And from there, that confidence was later on built into the very first professional regional production, which was at the Zachary Scott Theater where I did In the Heights. Funny enough, most of my cast members in that production ended up joining Hamilton in different segments of their life.
Wow.
I know. I'm
Small world.
one of the later ones that did it. And then now we come back several years later and I'm here in what is considered one of the apexes of my career. And like, I get to be here and it's different. Like I'm teaching master classes at Ballet Austin when I was just over here learning how to do it. It's a surreal and a beautiful moment to be here and to be what I consider home.
That is amazing. And is there anyone, from this support network that's able to come and see you and be able to be like, oh my gosh, I knew him when?
Yes. So this specific family that I'm about to mention really did give a lot to me. In college, one of the senior girls, her name was Maddie Piner, now Maddie Carson, because she is beautifully married with a beautiful family.
Oh.
Her parents are up there in the education system of Ballet Austin, Michelle Martin and Bill Piner, and they took me under their wing, and that's how they introduced me to Ballet Austin, because they knew about my story, they knew about my hunger and my drive to want to do this in my career. And they're all coming next Saturday to see me do John Lawrence and Philip Hamilton.
That is so exciting. My cheeks hurt. I'm smiling so big for you, but what a wonderful full circle moment. I think it's fantastic. We're in our last minute here. I do want to ask about your favorite moment of the show, even if it's not one that you do. What kind of lights you up that you get to see every single night?
Easily, Say No to This, because you hear dun 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 dun, and you just see this gorgeous woman walk downstage in this red gown, and it's giving telenovela realness. Like she's just walking around, and she's like, "I'm about to destroy your life," but here I am.
Check me out.
And it is, and like that's the moment where the ensemble gets to like really have judgment and look into Hamilton, and that's also the moment where I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm in Hamilton."
Well, I'm so glad you shared that with us, and I'm so grateful that we've had some time with you. Congratulations on everything you've achieved, and break a leg, Jorge. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. All right, this fabulous show is only running through April 6th, y'all, so you need to get tickets. Head to BroadwayInAustin.com or TexasPerformingArts.org to get your tickets today.